far as the multi-party delegation is concerned, and government wants to showcase that how India got an overwhelming support from these countries, specifically from the United States, who recently banned the TRF and claimed the entire terror attack on the soil of Pahalgam. But an important day at 12 noon, Defence Minister would be initiating the debate, a 16 hours debate in the Lok Sabha after the opposition parties demanded the entire discussion, and the opposition parties clearly, leveling several allegations on how there has been repeated claims that have been made by Donald Trump and how government would be responding to it. The sources have indicated to us that Defence Minister is in full preparation, and the government will prepare and present its case in full aggression, as Defence Minister had been briefed by the CDS, NSA and Tri-Service chiefs on the entire operations, and how on record on the floor of the House the Defence Minister would be responding would be very interesting to see.
Vasudha, in terms of what should we be expecting with this kind of face-off having been begun, and in an hour from now, Vasudha, we will be expecting NDA MPs to protest against this remark which has been made by former Home Minister P. Chidambaram.
That's right, Maria. In fact, the comments that have been made by P. Chidambaram were made a few days ago. In fact, these are old comments, but of course there is contextual reference to it. P. Chidambaram had also talked about the possibility of the terrorists who were responsible, the perpetrators of violence in Pahalgam, as being homegrown, and this is just a speculation. This is the main plank of attack of the opposition, that where are the perpetrators of violence of Pahalgam terror attack? Where did they go missing? Why has the NIA not really announced the developments of investigation in that case? And the line of attack from the government side is clearly what the Prime Minister said yesterday at Gangaichola where he clearly said that there's a new sense of confidence that the country has after Operation Sindoor. In fact, the world is watching and the world has to understand India's strength and abilities. What I understand from my sources, like Aishwarya also pointed out, while Rajnath Singh, the Raksha Mantri, is going to talk about the military offsets and the military outline of Operation Sindoor, there will be other speakers who will talk about the kind of foreign policy approach that Modi government has had, which is why a lot of hostile countries with hostile political establishments have sided with India, and the fact that there is diplomacy and also military strength that India has been showing, projecting, which in a combination has been able to put India very strongly on that map of diplomacy. That's what I understand. So clearly 8 hours of debate today, historic ones, and something that we'll be closely watching out for. But clearly the big guns will be booming in the parliament today.
And interestingly, Vasudha, after a long time, we'll be seeing a good discussion play out. Although on Constitution, I remember, it was a very informed and comprehensive discussion that we witnessed.
Absolutely, Maria. One more thing, when Manikam Thakur was talking to you, he said that we are not going to let go of that demand on SIR.
Yes.
So the opposition could be accused of changing goalposts. The government is very keen on having this discussion on Operation Sindoor, because when it comes to nationalism, I don't think anybody can beat the BJP, especially Modi's BJP. But the opposition has a lot of questions in its kitty, and of course the government would not want to be cornered, but we'll have to wait and see how the mood of the parliament turns today.
All right, Vasudha, join me in this discussion with Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain, who's joining us this morning. General Hasnain, good morning to you. It's an important discussion which will be happening on Operation Sindoor. Of course, this is a new normal and a new template which has been set by the Modi government. It shows political intent is the big message. And of course, as Prime Minister Modi had famously said in Bihar soon after the Pahalgam terror attack, that India will ensure that each and every perpetrators and also the handlers are tracked, traced and neutralized till the end of the earth. So the message that is coming in from the BJP and the Prime Minister himself is that they believe in walking the talk.
Absolutely, Maria. First of all, a pleasure to join you on this program. Briefly though, we are all looking forward to this debate, 16 hours of it. It's an important issue that the public has to understand through the medium of a parliamentary debate, transparently as to what exactly has happened, what were the threats which developed, how did India counter them in different domains, the military, the diplomatic, the people to people, and all of that kind. From a public point of view, I'm looking forward to certain things in this debate. Number one, I should believe that this should be done in an atmosphere of trust. You need not mistrust. There should not be a mistrust. There should not be something suspicious about the government holding back, etc. The opposition should definitely query on issues which appear to be voids in the information so far. For example, the aspect of intelligence, perhaps, or where the terrorist perpetrators of it have disappeared and why we have not been able to trace them so far. These are relevant questions which must come up. But at the same time, the government will also, I'm sure, transparently bring it out as to what are the various measures that they have taken and how India has actually achieved its objectives. And I dare say India has achieved its objectives extremely well. In the military domain, in the political domain, it conveyed a very strong political will, diplomatically by sending out the 7 parliamentary delegations all over the world. So I think largely the government of India has done its bit. It's a question of how we can optimize this for the future, because this is not the first and last time that we have suffered such a event, a terrorist attack of this kind, and it's going to happen in the future too. So whatever we are looking at should be from an angle of how to optimize, how to do it even better the next time.
But General Hasnain, I remember you writing about this international legitimacy, and that also seems to be one of the core points of attack of the opposition, with the opposition claiming that the international community is not with India as it had expected, although a lot of us believe that's not true. Can you explain to our viewers, when it comes to international legitimacy, it's a long game. You know, you had talked about how it's just the beginning. What should India do in that regard, and how justified is the opposition when it keeps questioning Donald Trump's claims, or the fact that it keeps saying that, you know, Pakistan seems to have more support from certain countries than it should have?
Firstly, you see, it's very clear. A lot of people are perceiving that the military situation between India and Pakistan happens to be something of a conventional kind, something which they expected during Operation Parakram in 2002, perhaps. That's not true at all. The situation has changed drastically since then. We have hybridity in our military environment of a far greater, to a far greater extent. The advent of what is called grey zone warfare. Grey zone is not something through which the maze of the confusion which it creates is not easy to discern as to where your objectives are, how exactly you are going to do your bit, and what you are going to achieve. At the end of the day, everyone is usually left guessing in grey zone as to what has been your achievement. Now, this is exactly the situation at the moment. And the opposition is obviously questioning on that aspect to see that there are different narratives being played out. Internationally, the Americans are playing out the narrative that they were responsible for bringing about the ceasefire. We have very transparently on the day one itself, I think, said that our DGMOs, the DGMO of the Indian Army and the DGMO of the Pakistan Army, spoke to each other after the 9 objectives on the Pakistan side. The various airfields had been struck very effectively. Thereafter, it was decided to go in for a ceasefire. That's how the limited conflict ended at 88 hours. This was a typical limited conflict kind of an environment. Yes, narratives of different kinds have played out since then, internationally, politically, psychologically, and that will be in a grey zone environment invariably. This is something, I don't think the government should feel under pressure for that. The opposition is well within its rights to raise the issues, and let's have a healthy debate on this and see how we can optimize for this in the future.
General Hasnain, one view certainly is, should the government put it on record what has been said by some senior officials of the military establishment about jets being downed, about the losses on the Indian side?
$1 million question. I knew that issue will always come up. Maria, I could take you back to 1962. Has the Henderson Brooks report been put on the parliament table? No, it's not. You see, national security is an issue which one has to understand. It's within brackets that you have to understand it. There is a level of transparency to which you have to go when you have to see your national interest. If Henderson Group's report after 63 years has not been tabled by any government, leave the political color of the government, by any government, why should anyone expect a complete transparency of a minute-to-minute a course of events which took place during Operation Sindoor? I think, in many words, the Chief of the Defence Staff has alluded to certain things which may have happened, and you are left to make your surmises based on that. I'm sure in time to come, a lot of things will be written on this. A lot of evidence people will produce here and there. Fine, good enough. That's how it should be. At the moment, in the context of the times today, to question this, to my mind, is not correct, perhaps, because it's the national security angle, it's an angle of our equipment. We don't want to start transparently revealing weaknesses or strengths or anything of that kind at this particular moment.
All right, General Hasnain, really appreciate your time. I hope to see you in the evening as well on NDTV. But first up, what did the Prime Minister say yesterday, which actually has set the tone for the discussion today? Let's listen in to Prime Minister Modi, who spoke in Tamil Nadu yesterday.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने दिखा दिया है कि भारत के दुश्मनों के लिए, आतंकवादियों के लिए अब कोई ठिकाना सुरक्षित नहीं है। और आज जब मैं हेलीपैड से यहां आ रहा था, 3-4 किलोमीटर का रास्ता काटते हुए, और अचानक मैंने देखा एक बड़ा रोड शो बन गया और हर एक के मुंह से ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का जय जयकार हो रहा था। ये पूरे देश में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने एक नई चेतना जगाई है, नया आत्मविश्वास पैदा किया है और दुनिया को भी भारत की शक्ति को स्वीकार करना पड़ रहा है।
Vasudha, go ahead.
Fawzia Khan of NCP, led by Sharad Pawar, joins us. Thank you, Fawzia, for joining us on NDTV this morning. It's an important day for all political parties in India. I remember Sharad Pawar was one of the first political leaders in India to call the Prime Minister after Operation Sindoor. In fact, he said that it is time to stay as one, stay united, and he hailed the way India retaliated to the killings in Pahalgam. When it comes to today, what is NCP SP hoping to do? What kind of questions are you hoping to raise? Are you with the opposition completely, or do you think that there is a dilemma that opposition parties could be facing with regard to Operation Sindoor?
Well, I can tell you only one thing, that we are with the nation, and we are proud of the fact that during this time the nation has stayed united. In every way, every citizen of the nation has remained united and given a signal that when it comes to the nation, we are all together. Be it opposition, be it the treasury benches, anyone, we are with the government, we are with the nation. So I think this is one of the most important achievements of this Operation Sindoor that India could, see all around. Everybody was on the streets in Kashmir. Everybody was talking about, this, saying that, yes, we are with the government. Whatever it is, we will not tolerate terrorism. We will not tolerate anybody looking at our country. So this unity, I think, is one of the most important strengths of our nation. And NCP has always stood by it and will stand by it in future. I think one of the most important signals that was given was Sophia Qureshi when she came on the forefront. And I felt proud of the fact that India on the forefront is a woman who's saying that, no, we will not tolerate any threat to our country. But we were really surprised when the president of a nation came out and said that I brought the ceasefire. That was a little surprising. And the ambiguity around this was a little surprising. I feel we have to have our borders secure in every way. We cannot be vulnerable. We cannot permit Pulwama. We cannot permit Pahalgam to be happening like this. How does it happen? First of all, we need to go to the root of this. And I think
Yes.
these are some of the questions which we need answers. And I'm glad that this discussion is taking place.
All right. Dr. Khan, I wish to know from you who from your political party will be participating in this discussion. Will it be Supriya Sule? And what about the Rajya Sabha? Are you among the speakers?
I shall be among the speakers in the Rajya Sabha. And I think in the Lok Sabha, what is decided is that Mr. Amar Kale will be speaking, Supriya Sule will be speaking, and if we get the time, more members also will be speaking in the discussion.
Yes, so Dr. Khan, do you think that, India bloc, when it comes to the questions that you have with regards to this entire operation, and what many are saying is also what led to Pahalgam, what led to the loss of lives, those 26 people who came, who were tourists, losing their lives at a tourist spot. Do you think that is also an imperative question that has to be raised as to what, could there have been more security at a tourist spot, and could this have been avoided?
Absolutely. This is a question which is there in everybody's minds. When we go on some holiday or a vacation, how is it that somebody suddenly comes and starts firing upon people? And that is something which I just said, that our borders cannot be vulnerable. Our intelligence system has to improve. How is it that we didn't know that this is going to happen? Or did we? So these questions are pertinent questions that are going to come up in the discussion, because this is in the heart of every Indian. We should have a secure nation. Nobody can come and threaten us this way. And if we are failing in that, I think we need to improve.
All right, Dr. Fawzia Khan, NCP MP, joining us this morning for this conversation. Of course, this entire discussion begins at 12 noon. That's when the Defence Minister will be initiating the discussion. We also have Major General Sanjay Meston joining us, who is a defence analyst. But before I go to him, a word from Aishwarya. Aishwarya, as far as the Treasury benches, what is the list of speakers and what is the strategy looking like?
Well, very interesting. I would also like you to comment on one particular name. But the list has come out as far as the opposition members are concerned, from Priyanka Gandhi, Gaurav Gogoi from the Congress party to Abhishek Banerjee from the Trinamool Congress, from the Samajwadi Party. Rahul Gandhi would be initiating the debate tomorrow at 12 noon. And one of the very interesting names, Shashi Tharoor. Till now, the Congress party has not named him in that particular list. If given an option, Shashi Tharoor might go to Lok Sabha Speaker for the intervention, and of course the Speaker can give him the choice. But it would be very interesting to see if that happens, then how the Bharatiya Janata Party would be reacting to it. But certainly there are many prominent speakers that will be speaking today from the BJP, and Anurag Thakur.
But Aishwarya, is the PM expected to speak? Because I'm hearing mixed speculations on this, that he could just be intervening. And last time, if you remember, Rahul Gandhi was speaking, 6 people who intervened. So interventions sometimes are becoming more interesting in the parliament than speeches themselves.
And that's the strategy of the BJP as well. Prime Minister to Home Minister and External Affairs Minister all would be speaking on this, but Prime Minister would be intervening in both the houses, be it in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as a...
No, but interesting point that you made about Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Remember, he was the one who was leading a crucial delegation, one of the 7 delegations which was sent by the government of India. It was cross-party delegation, and the message was that the entire polity of India is united when it comes to the messaging, that there is no domestic differences when it comes to the international audience. What was the import, what was the intent, and what is the outcome had to be communicated in a united manner. And Dr. Shashi Tharoor, a very effective speaker, undoubtedly, had traveled to the US, had traveled to Mexico and Brazil to send that message. But politically, if it happens, Vasudha, given the differences that have been playing out between Dr. Tharoor and his political party, if he intervenes without being in the list of the Congress speakers, how will that really happen?
My God, that is going to be another controversy, and we'll have to shift the line of our debate. But Maria, let me tell you, the part about Dr. Tharoor's, multi-party delegation to the US was, there was this one question that everybody kept asking: where is the proof that these terrorists are from Pakistan? And Dr. Tharoor, in every meeting with delegates in US, pointed out to what happened in 2011, all the terrorist attacks that have happened in the country have been traced back to people in Pakistan, terrorists in Pakistan. So that, in some ways, was a very powerful defense of India putting the blame on Pakistan, because it was not without any proof, it was not without evidence. And clearly he has been, like we know, one of the biggest ambassadors of Operation Sindoor. The Congress finds itself in a very sticky position if it doesn't really propel Dr. Tharoor. And what happens to Dr. Tharoor's own political future, and how is the BJP going to look at this specifically with regard to the party wanting attention on its own speakers, but at the same time having to realize that Dr. Tharoor, of course, also presents the narrative better.
And Prime Minister, in the customary soundbite just before the monsoon session, stated that the kind of unity that was showcased to the entire world, that needs India needs to showcase that unity inside the parliament as well. And the government has reached out to different MPs who were the part of multi-party delegation, because the government wants to send out a message that how an overwhelming support was gathered from these many countries, specifically from the United States, where an important decision was taken just weeks ahead of this debate, that TRF was banned after repeated request was made. So interesting to see whether Tharoor will be speaking in the parliament.
And Maria, and if you remember in Vizium Port, the Prime Minister himself said that Dr. Tharoor has given sleepless nights to his own party members. So this controversy and what Dr. Tharoor will do and what Congress will do with Dr. Tharoor remains to be a subject of interest, not just amongst ourselves, but I think even amongst the upper echelons of power.